Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदयान्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विदुनोति सुरेत्सताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, verses 14, 15, 16. Verse 14. Nasheke sovitum tatra purukrachroruveपतु gantum aichat tato vriksha kotaradivasanalaat. Synonyms. Na, not, Sheke was able, Sa, he, Avitum, to protect, Tatra, there, Puru, very much, Krachra, difficulty, Uru, great, Vepathu, suffering, Gantum, to go out, Aichat, desired, Tata, from there, Vriksha, of a tree, Kotarat, from the hollow, Eva, like, Sa Analat, on fire. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. As a serpent living within the cavity of a tree wishes to leave when there is a forest fire, so the city's police superintendent, the snake, wished to leave the city due to the fire's severe heat. Purport. It becomes very difficult for snakes to leave a forest when there is a fire. Other animals may flee due to their long legs, but serpents, only being able to crawl, are generally burnt in the fire. At the last stage, the limbs of the body are not as much affected as the life air. Verse 15. शिथिलावयवो यर्हि गन्धर्वैर्हृतपौरुषा यवनैररिभिराजन् उपरुद्धोरुरोदः. Synonyms. Shithila, slackened. Avayavaha, his limbs. Yarhi, when. Gandharvai, by the Gandharvas. Rita, defeated. Paurusha, his bodily strength. Yavanai, by the Yavanas, Aribhi, by the enemies, Rajan, O King Prachina Barhishat, Uparuddha, by being checked, Ruroda, cried loudly, Ha, indeed. Translation. The limbs of the serpent's body were slackened by the Gandharvas and Yavana soldiers, who had thoroughly defeated his bodily strength. When he attempted to leave the body, he was checked by his enemies. Being thus baffled in his attempt, he began to cry loudly. Purport. At the last stage of life, the different gates of the body are choked by the effects of disease, which are caused by an imbalance of bile, mucus, and air. Thus, the living entity cannot clearly express his difficulties, and surrounding relatives hear the sound ghura ghura from a dying man. In his Mukundamala Stotra, King Kulashekara states, Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva Mevishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samai Kaphavata Pittai Kantavarodhana Vidhau Smaranam Kutaste. My dear Krishna, please help me die immediately so that the swan of my mind may be encircled by the stem of your lotus feet. Otherwise, at the time of my final breath, when my throat is choked up, how will it be possible for me to think of you? The swan takes great pleasure in diving within water and being encircled by the stem of the lotus flower. This entanglement is sporting joy. If in our healthy condition we think of the lotus feet of the Lord and die, it is most fortunate. In old age, at the time of death, the throat sometimes becomes choked with mucus or blocked by air. At such a time, the sound vibration of Hare Krishna, the Mahamantra, may not come out. Thus, one may forget Krishna. Of course, those who are strong in Krishna consciousness cannot possibly forget Krishna at any stage because they are accustomed to chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, especially when there is a signal from death. Verse 16. दुहित्रपुत्र पौत्रांश्च जामी जमात्र पार्षदान् स्वत्वावशिष्टं यत् किञ्चिद् गृहकोशपरिच्छदम्. Synonyms: Duhitra, daughters; Putra, sons; Pautran, grandsons; Cha, and Jami, the daughters-in-law; Jamatra, sons-in-law; Parshadan, associates; Svatva, property; Avashishtam, remaining; Yat kinchit, whatever; Griha, home; Kosha, accumulation of wealth; Parichadam, household paraphernalia. Translation: King Puranjana then began to think of his daughters, sons, grandsons, daughters in law, sons in law, servants, and other associates, as well as his house, his household paraphernalia, and his little accumulation of wealth. Purport: It is not infrequent for a person overly attached to the material body to request a physician to prolong his life at least for some time. If the so called scientific physician is able to prolong one's life for a few minutes through the use of oxygen or other medicines, he thinks that he is very successful in his attempts, although ultimately the patient will die. This is called the struggle for existence. At the time of death, both patient and physician still think of prolonging life, although all the constituents of the body are practically dead and gone. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णाप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself, and please forgive me for any shortcomings. I have taken notes from lectures by senior devotees. We have been hearing about the subject matter of the allegory of Puranjana, which means the enjoyer within the body. The example is given here of snake. Although snakes are very dangerous creatures in forest, but if there is a forest fire, there is no hope for snakes. The snake has no means of its own to escape the forest fire. Similarly, we have no hope of getting out of this material world unless there is mercy of a devotee. The illusion of this world is that we think we are safe. As we know from the allegorical pastime of Puranjan, where he is very happy and thinks he is going to live forever. This is not just some kind of allegory. It's very interesting reality. As time goes on, Gandharva Raj Chandavega is gradually attacking us. The vital air in body is the police superintendent. The jiva cannot really exist in connection with matter. This vital air is what is floating with the false ego, identifies with the material body into the mind and senses, and with the use of intellect tries to enjoy various situations which we find ourselves in, and consequently we become entangled in karmic reactions. This unseen air is directly under the control of the supersoul. So, the allegory of the snake with five hoods, the five kinds of air in the body, under the direction of the supreme life air, are always trying to protect the body. But gradually in time, everything decays in this material world. In Canto 3, Chapter 25, Lord Kapiladev says that every learned man knows that the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul is their attachment for this material world. But that same attachment, when applied to the self realized devotees, it opens the door of liberation. Similarly, this material world is like a dream. It's a reflection of the spiritual world perverted through the modes of nature. It's matter of just transferring our attachment to 180 degrees. Prabhupada would sometimes say the most important thing is to find out how to get out of the forest fire, not to just suspend all our time like a scientist trying to analyze it. This situation of Puranjan is helpless, hopeless, and finished. Even his best friend, his life heir, has given up. So, what is the solution to get out of this blazing fire like material existence? It is the very basis of our spiritual life, the song called Guru Ashtakam, the 8 prayers to our spiritual master. We offer our obeisances to our spiritual master. Just as the rain cloud extinguishes the forest fire, the spiritual master extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence by showering his mercy upon us. Guru, by mercy of his instructions, fills our heart with pure desires and redirects our attachment to Krishna. Chanting Krishna's names, the Sankirtan movement, cleans the heart and extinguishes the fire of material existence, of repeated birth and death. It doesn't just make it better, it brings the fire to an end. If we learn to absorb our mind in Krishna, our life is successful. For that, we might have to do some cultural detoxification. We might have to get the Western culture values of sense gratification and self centeredness out of our system so that we can absorb ourselves in Krishna's loving service. Here in these verses, the moment of death, the difficult circumstances are described. It is the final examination of life. The whole idea of practicing Krishna consciousness is to become absorbed in Krishna. So deep, like it gets coded in our genetics, from where it cannot go away. Once our chitta is filled with Krishna consciousness, then only there is a chance of passing the exam at the last stage of life. We have to bring the chanting from just lips to much deeper in the core of heart. The chanting must be done being mindful of Krishna. The material existence is all about I, me, and mine. What's being described here is the manifestations of the body. The sons, daughters, grandsons, accumulated wealth, etc., come from bodily attachments. Whereas a devotee is totally opposite. A devotee forgets about I, me, and mine and always thinks about Krishna. We cannot become artificially detached from material paraphernalia because the taste remains. But instead, we have to develop an attachment to Krishna or something related to Krishna. We also see in Krishna's Vraj Lila when there is forest fire 2 times. And both the times, the devotees told us what to do. They called out to Krishna. Every circumstance, every situation, we should call out to Krishna. We have no other shelter who can save us. And our spiritual master is teaching us that when devotees surrender to Krishna and chant his name, and suddenly the forest fire is gone. Now there is another type of fire also, the fire of devotional service. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. The Sankirtan is not just externally, the main thing is internally. Chanting the holy name of Lord burns all the snakes of material desires to ashes. Of course, there is quality of chanting, the complete eradication of anarthas. The unwanted desires take more time, more intensity of chanting. So, this is our lifeline, a tunnel to get out of the Lakshagra, like the house of lac where the Pandavas were put into, to get out of this burning, blazing fire material existence and not perish in a snake like condition within this material world. To save oneself from contamination of Kali Yuga, there is no other alternative but to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I will stop here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam